All right, millions taking to the streets to protest climate change. And while the majority of protesters were peaceful, that wasn't the case in Portland, Oregon, all thanks to Antifa.
Child, go back. Shut the go back.
CHS, you stop, piece of
You're in the middle of a public park, you pigs. Pig.
I cannot believe they have to take that. How proud their parents must be. Here with more is journalist Andy No, who shot the video. You'll remember he was targeted by Antifa over the summer. Andy, it's clear that a lot of people there were peaceful protests. They got to miss school, too. So how many were Antifa?
Yeah, so on Friday, hundreds of thousands around the world marched, and in spite of the apocalyptic language and fear-mongering about the climate, it was peaceful, except for in Portland, where a faction of Antifa militants dressed head to toe in black and wearing masks showed up and commandeered part of the demonstrations. They replaced the chants about the climate to expletives against the police. There were several arrests throughout the day. One of the violent suspects who was arrested, who has a big Antifa tattoo on his neck, was found to be carrying a cache of weapons, including a dagger, a switchblade, a hammer, and brass knuckles. As if that wasn't bad enough, once the climate strike was over, these group of masked militants descended on the local ICE facility, the same facility that was under a 5-week siege last year, and began to throw projectiles like rocks at the federal officers who were protecting the facility. When they responded, they all took off running in different directions, and that's what you see in the video.
Andy,
the police who were chasing them dropped some of the ammunition, and one of the masked Antifa people attempted to pick it up. You could see the abuse that the police endured that day. Antifa says that they organized to oppose the far right, but really they just use that as a pretense to take to the streets, to cycle through a number of issues, and to push their political agenda.
True. Andy, a couple of things. You were attacked. You know this personally. So you understand what they're violently capable of. But seeing those two kids, they look like white kids, late teens, early 20s. Is that typical Antifa?
This group that demonstrated on Friday was a bit younger than what the average Antifa member is, you could say. And this was their youth wings. And what's concerning about this to me is that this movement is able to recruit younger and younger people. I mean, many of these masked people were really children. And you see how they've bought onto this narrative that the police are evil, and they have no hesitation in not just showing disrespect to law enforcement, but hatred and trying to actively get in the way of the arrest.
Right. Andy, we have to go to break, but if you're a guy, if you're a kid and you're screaming at a cop like that and challenging a cop, that police chief's got to empower his officers to arrest these guys, leave them in jail for a week or two, and then we'll see how militant they are when they get out. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.